Absolutely. I think that not only I can remember back being a child and starting lemonade stands, of course we did those as well, but just that desire to create and find a need and fulfill that need the best that I can.
Thanks for joining me on Forging the Future. And today I'm excited to talk to and welcome Bailey Kinney, the Executive Director of Lemonade Day Houston, an organization making a huge impact around the nation for young entrepreneurs. Welcome to the show, Bailey.
Thank you so much for having me, Chris.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about the path of becoming the Executive Director at Lemonade Day.
Well, my career path took a turn. I started out in development in the nonprofit world at the Contemporary Arts Museum, and that led me on to work in development at Rice University.
Okay.
And then I pivoted and was part of the educational toy industry for 16 years.
Oh, wow.
And within those 16 years, I ended up buying a specialty mom and pop toy store and owning it for 8. And
what was the name of it?
Toys to Love.
Okay.
I ended up selling the store to an amazing young lady who still owns it today. And I still keep up with her, and I love that store and always will, and what it stands for. And my children actually work there off and on, which is nice. But so I owned the store, sold it, and then went on deciding to join the nonprofit world again. It was after Harvey, and I really found myself wanting to give back and enter into that sector. So I took a job at the Nature Discovery Center, which is here in Bel Air, which is nature education for children. I was an education.
Love the Nature Center, yeah.
It's great. I'm glad you know it. I was an education major, so I'm always drawn to educating children. And then that led me on to be the interim executive director of the center. So that was a 3-year stint. And then Lemonade Day came my way, and I just could not turn away from this opportunity to combine my business experience with my nonprofit fundraising experience into one dream job of really helping kids understand that they can own their own business someday.
Nice. Did you ever have a lemonade stand?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I had, they always say entrepreneurs have an aha moment, and I'm here to say that they definitely have them at a young age. And that is why I'm sitting here today, is to make sure that the world knows that we have to teach these kids young. But mine came in the 4th grade, which is actually a sweet spot for kids. And I decided I would have a catering business for my parents' workforce offices. My mom used to complain that there wasn't anything good to eat around where she worked. And so I decided that summer with a good friend of mine to make a menu and go sell to these sweet ladies and go shopping and make all the lunches and deliver them on bike. And I did that, and then for my dad's office as well. And it was just a really cool moment when I realized I made money and had fun. And we just still talk about that today. So I was playing shop at a young age.
Sounds like DoorDash. You were you were ahead of the curve on that one.
I was the first DoorDash. Yeah, let's say that.
And I guess has that helped you with your job and career now at Lemonade Day?
Absolutely. I think that not only I can remember back being a child and starting lemonade stands, of course we did those as well, but just that desire to create and find a need and fulfill that need the best that I can. And so to be able to relate all this and then have the toy store back to children right now is a dream come true. It's a privilege to have this job and to constantly be trying to implement our program.
I was surprised to learn that, Lemonade Day goes all the way from pre-K or K through 8th grade. Is that right?
Yes. So we teach kindergarten to 8th grade. That is our age bracket. Okay. It's a very, I like to say, contagious program because parents learn a lot from it as well, and high schoolers. And I'm sure I'll be telling you more about our mentors, but our mentors can be high schoolers. And as you know, when you teach something, you learn. So, but we are geared towards K through 8th.
Tell me a little bit about what's like the story behind the organization. I mean, how did this come together?
Lemonade Day began in 2007 by a man named Michael Holthouse. He's an entrepreneur himself. And he had a moment, an aha moment, if you will, when he was working with his daughter who wanted to buy a turtle. And he said, if you want to buy a turtle, you can start a lemonade stand and make your own money. That's fine. I'll lend you the money and you can pay it back. So she goes out, and keep in mind, she was in the 4th grade actually. And she went to one of the best private schools here in Houston. And she goes out and sets up her lemonade stand and says that she can't pay him back the money. And he cannot believe that she didn't have the business skills, financial literacy skills to launch a successful lemonade stand. And so he decides to mentor her through the steps it takes: budgeting, marketing, location. And they went out and obviously had a very successful experience. And that is where it was born. And it was mainly because he realized there was a void in our education system for children and entrepreneurship, of course, and financial literacy. And a lot of kids, it is a fact, they are graduating even from high school without any of those skills, heading into the world without the tools that they need to set up a business, one thing, but also have that mindset that they can achieve success in different channels of their life.
How long ago was that he did that?
That was 2007.
2007.
And so it's so nice to be with Lemonade Day now, because we can look back over the 16 years and watch these children grow into striving adults that have their own businesses still, or maybe their businesses went away for a little bit and they're now working for somebody and have that respect and hard work ethic. But it's been great for us to see the stories of our alumni and our ambassadors that I have the privilege of working with right now.
How does it work exactly?
Yes. So the way it works is it is a curriculum, and it's a step-by-step process, and we're based on 4 modules. And the first module is how to set a goal. Kids don't know how to set goals at a young age. You think they would, but you have to remind them, do you have a need? Do you have a want? And then they realize what a goal is, setting their goals. And the second module is writing a business plan, step by step. And the program is so much fun, and they're experiencing it physically, mentally, emotionally, that they don't even know they're learning all these steps as they are. They don't know they're learning math, reading skills, social studies. And then the third module is how to work the plan, take those steps, the physical steps and actions. And the final module is how to achieve their dreams. And that refers to launching the business and looking back, turning in business results and looking back and seeing what they could do better next time. We want kids to keep going. This is not just a one-time lemonade stand. This is an experience that's teaching them how to keep going and grow and change it. We also, within that curriculum, we are teaching them the 3 S's. So we are teaching them how to save money and open up a bank account. We're teaching them how to spend a little bit, that it is okay to make money. It is not a bad thing. It is a good thing as long as you're doing it in the right way and using it for good. So spending and celebrating, if they want to buy that new phone or bike, do it. And then lastly, sharing with their community, picking a charity or giving them a portion of the money to a loved one that might be sick. So the 3 S's are really ingrained throughout the curriculum. And to back up a little bit, it is implemented into the city, for instance, in Houston, through our partnerships with youth organizations, schools, and individual households. And even more so, it's taught through our new digital platform called My Lemonade Day.
Okay.
So that is how we can expand our reach throughout the city, this enormous, awesome city. So the app really helps us get into more areas because they can naturally download it once we give them the code. We do still have workbooks. That's how it all began.
So they start out with a workbook. And is it like parent taught, or is it like there's sessions, or it was classroom based probably before COVID? How does it work?
One of the reasons that our program is so special is because when it began, he realized not every child has a parent like him that could mentor their child through these steps, because they probably weren't. A lot of people didn't grow up with financial literacy. And so he recognized that kids need a mentor along the way, so a role model, someone to turn to. So it is taught through a mentor, and that mentor could be a teacher, a Sunday school teacher, a grandparent, a parent, sister. So as long as they are registered with us with the mentor, they can run the program.
We homeschooled our kids back in the day, which was in the 80s, so it was kind of strange for people back then, but it's really taken up. I saw some recent statistics that were like back then it was maybe 30,000 people, right? Now it's something like 5 million. Are you seeing kind of an upsurge in homeschooling, and how do you partner with like homeschool organizations?
I'm glad that you brought that up. We love homeschoolers. They love our program, and we are more enmeshed with them than we ever have been before. And we are a national organization. When I was talking about how we started, it began here, and we've grown over these 16 years into almost 100 cities.
Wow.
And so because we're national, we are able to work with different homeschooling organizations throughout the country. And even here in Houston, we just did the homeschool convention. And so it works perfectly for them, and they get it. It really resonates with them. And we have a lot of alumni and ambassadors that are homeschoolers.
So the founder, was he based here in Houston?
Yes.
And I didn't realize it actually, like you said, it's headquartered here.
It's headquartered here. We're proud of Houston. We, the Houston being the flagship showroom, we are the R&D lab. So it's a privilege for me, and I have a staff member, which is fabulous. We are able to pilot different parts of the program here and test out add-ons to the curriculum. We're always tweaking and adding and changing. Of course, during COVID, we had to change it many ways and adapt to how these children are learning. So to be able to test it out here and replicate that in another city and give them tips on what worked for us is amazing.
So if I'm in the program and I start out as a kindergartner, do I stay all the way until I'm in 8th grade? Is it like you have multiple, I'm going to have a lemonade stand every day? I mean, not every year, of course, not every day, but every year, or multiple times? I mean, how does it progress?
We would love it if a kindergartner started and then went all the way through 8th grade and stayed involved with us. But we usually have kids start, even though we can start in kindergarten, they're usually getting involved around the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. Those are the most popular grades. And that has to do with us doing studies of showing when an adult entrepreneur like yourself, when you had your aha moment as a child to realize you had that drive in you, and that's usually around the age, probably because of literacy skills and the ability to get on a bike and go buy your lemons or what have you. So we would love it if they would continue, and a lot of them do, a huge percentage, and we try to get the business results and the surveys back from them. But naturally, they will run their stand, and then they'll change it and morph it into a different business. We do have some alumni, some very famous ones that have product in H-E-B and Target that have continued with their lemonade brand. But we also have a lot that have changed it into toys. For instance, we have two brothers that launched it. It's called Trash Bots, and it's toys made out of recycled trash. So they change it into their passions and desires throughout the years. And then we do stay connected with them and offer them different avenues and different organizations to help them grow their business.
And it's more than just one day.
We are more than just a day, so I'm glad you said that. It got its reputation because of its name, because when it originally started, the program was run throughout about a month through these organizations and neighborhoods. And then it was celebrated that first weekend in May, traditionally. And that's when schools used to get out, right, in May. And so it was this great, fun celebration. Paint the town yellow, get out and support youth entrepreneurs. That is still happening, but we also are launching programs year-round, depending on what works for that organization. So right now, we are in season, as you will call it, where this is the peak of our season. It's springtime. We have hundreds of organizations actually next week starting the program, and the curriculum will run all month. And then we'll celebrate on our big event, May 6th. And we have support by the mayor, and we will get out and support these kids. And we'll actually send it to Softtech and tell you guys to go. And we'll have different areas around the city you can go buy a glass of lemonade. The other part of Houston that is so special is we are running workshops and contests throughout the year to deepen the curriculum that they're learning and to get them engaged in other ways. For instance, we have one that's called the Best of the Zest, which is our best pitch competition. So we're actually empowering kids to learn to speak in public. which I wish I'd had at a young age, and a marketing workshop, build-a-stand workshops. So the program is more than just a day, no doubt.
Yeah. Have you seen an impact then with the kids? I mean, how many kids went through the program, like in Houston and maybe nationwide? Is it worldwide or just nationwide?
Nationwide.
Nationwide, okay.
We're in Bermuda and Puerto Rico as well.
Okay. So how many kids are being impacted, maybe on an annual basis? Or?
Yes. So it changed a little bit in COVID. But last year we impacted close to 20,000 nationwide, 5,000 in Houston. The average for Houston was 10. And then the average for the country was closer to 50 to 100. So, but since we started in 2007, we have impacted over 1.5 million children.
Oh, wow.
So our impact is growing, and we are growing in the right direction. This year, I'm proud to announce we have a goal of, just for Houston, impacting 20,000 children. And I know we can do it. Everybody's excited about this program. It's really showing kids that they can have fun while they're learning. And a lot of organizations are wanting that for that reason.
And have you seen some of those, social and economic impacts from
Absolutely
the program?
We have the privilege of partnering with Gallup on our national board. Our chair is the senior partner at Gallup, and Gallup speaks our love language, of course. So we can pull children that run the program and that do not run the program. And it has been shown that 57% compared to 37% believe they can invent something to change the world that have run the program. So that in itself tells you that we need more. We need more people to run this program. We want kids to believe they can do that. As you know, small business and entrepreneurship is on the decline, and we've got to improve that to change the trajectory of our country. So that stat is phenomenal. We also know that in a community, when there's a 1% increase of entrepreneurship, there's a 2% decrease in poverty rate. And so really reaching these communities, underserved communities, and making sure that they have this opportunity is crucial. And that is a huge driving force for Lemonade Day Houston to really reach into these areas.
I like this aha moment that you're talking about because and I liken it, since I like the Matrix, I always talk about red pill and blue pill. But as an entrepreneur, much later in life, I had a similar epiphany from the standpoint of your ability to change reality. And by that, I mean, I had a business, I created a product. It was a programming tool, but also it had a language, of how I described how you used it, function names, things like this. And what was interesting to me at some point was people calling me on the phone and using terms and words that I made up, essentially, right, as part of the product and the offering.
That's awesome.
Just really understanding, wow, I'm actually changing, the world that I'm living in a small way in this particular case. But, I think that it's true of having the impact, showing kids that they can change the world around them instead of just like consuming the world, like, oh, I'm drinking Coca-Cola or I'm going to Disney World. Like in my own role, like I did projects for Coca-Cola and I've done projects for Disney, or I've created products in the world that have that contributed instead of just being a receiver of that, and showing them that they can have that kind of impact, right? And maybe a path of how that could happen, first in a small way, right? But then also later, well, actually I could create a toy company, or I can create a business, and I can, affect my community through the skills that you learn, like being able to talk in front of people, or put a business plan together, or sell something, or talk to people I don't know, right? I mean, there's so many lessons, I think, in that, whether you go on to be an entrepreneur or not, right?
Exactly.
You've been an entrepreneur, and now you're an intrapreneur, I would imagine, working at Lemonade Day. There's a lot of overlap there, right? I mean, do you see the skills you had as an entrepreneur affecting you in your role now even?
Absolutely. And I love to talk to the kids about that, the skills that I used to run my own business, and then really see it shine in them. And I think what you're speaking to is what the Lemonade Day program does is that it checks a lot of buckets. We are known for, SEL, social emotional learning, and TEKS and Common Core. And
What is TEKS?
the TEKS is
I homeschooled our kids, so
it's what the HISD bases their education system on.
Okay.
So it's all the different standards that the kids have to learn. And then some states do Common Core. But checking all those buckets for teachers is so important, as you know, because they're getting pressure from the state or their principal, what have you. So we tell them that this program is going to help their kids more than anything. But we respect what these teachers are doing. They have a hard job, especially these days. So watching these kids, when you were asking me how my experiences can help them, it's just thinking back on the challenges I had. And one of the developmental skills that they're learning is problem solving. And kids are going to have issues. And I feel like the emotional state of our children, we're watching it after COVID, it's in jeopardy. And so we need kids to understand if you have a problem, tiny, like you said, with a lemonade stand, and maybe someone didn't like your lemonade, or maybe they tried to steal out of your tip jar. How are you going to handle that? And so this program is giving them these opportunities to overcome problems that are small so that when they have huge problems in life, they can do that and not shut down and quit. And I think that's what I learned more than anything was grit and never to give up. And so that's what I'm always trying to encourage these kids. Give it a try, and you can be a part of something bigger than yourself. You can be an inventor. You can start up. If you like this company, you can start one. And kids' confidence, it gets beat down as they grow older, and this program can change that.
So what were some of the reasons behind launching the digital app? Like you have an app now, right? So what does that do?
The app is such a great direction. It's, as we know, technology, as you know,
and kids, right?
Kids, dude, they love it. It's the way of the world. It's the way it's going. Paper's expensive, and we are a nonprofit, so we are raising funds to make sure that, for instance, everybody in Houston, every child can run this program for free. So the paper is expensive. It's hard to get the results too. We can give a workbook to a whole school, and we have to fight for it back. So the app helps us stay connected to these youth entrepreneurs. They can turn in their business results. We can work with the teachers better. Not to mention, it's interactive and fun for them. There's videos and characters, and there's different areas for them to put their budget in or put their recipes in so they can hold on to the materials that they're putting in there, the information, excuse me. So the app has been a huge step for Lemonade Day, and a really nice investment. And it's just continuing to grow and grow the more that everyone takes it on. And we're continuing to make improvements to it to make it easily accessible. But I think the number one aspect of it is that we can reach more kids, period.
Yeah, I think it's hugely important for kids to learn entrepreneurship. There weren't many tools available for me and my children 35 years ago or more when we were homeschooling. Although still, they were very proactive in starting lemonade stands without Lemonade Day, but even doing things like teaching people how to play video games and making $50 an hour doing it. They had to put their headset on and go up to their room and, play the game they know and love and make money, right?
It's amazing. Kids are smart.
It was, I was reading a statistic just this weekend that this guy was predicting that you will see the first self-made teenager billionaire in the 2020s, okay? And the reason why, he said, though, is that technology drives the economy and younger people are technologically savvier. Makes sense, right? The second thing he said was that Stripe now allows 13-year-olds to start a business, right?
Right.
And that the rise in homeschooling means kids will start building businesses earlier. And I think I really saw that myself even 35 years ago. They had more time to do that, right? And the last thing was the ability to do this with just a smartphone and an internet connection, right? So, I mean, that's pretty wild what we're going to see in the next 6, 7, 8 years.
I'm fascinated by that. And if you give children the room and the space and the tools to grow, they will do it. Their imagination is at its peak. We just have, like you said, they have to have the time and the space to do it in. And that is what our program is doing. We're giving them that opportunity to think, to be innovative and to be creative, as opposed to just sitting at a desk and doing one subject after another. We have to get them up, get them moving, get them caring about what they're doing. Once they do the work and earn that first dollar, I'm sure like your kids, something magic happens and they never forget it. And you can talk about it like I did with when I was in the 4th grade. They'll never forget it. And that's the point of Lemonade Day, is that when you're planting that seed in a child of entrepreneurship, it'll stay forever. And like I said, it might go away, but they'll come up with an idea later on in life and say, wait, I can do this because I did it once before and I know it's possible. And we have such a passion for breaking this cycle in certain families and communities where they might not have a dad like you, to even look up and see that is possible. And so I hope that I know this program can give them that opportunity to break that cycle. And that's our end game, is to give them that chance.
Well, what can companies and communities do to really be part of this solution for you?
Well, companies, just people of Houston or the whole country, number one, encourage kids to register, or a mentor to register. Sign up. It's free. We are raising money to make sure it's free. So we really want to make sure and get that word out. Especially right now, this is a fun time to sign up because it's leading up to Lemonade Day and they'll get more support. They'll make a higher profit on that day. So that's number one. Or a group of kids, as many kids as possible. Number two, volunteer, mentor, helping kids, as you know, from Junior Achievement. Ours is the same. We bring in bank sponsors. They come and mentor those kids. And that's fascinating because the kids listen to them better than the teacher or the parent, of course. Older kids, mentoring is the magic of our program as well. And then also we need donors. We need to fundraise always. Time, talents, and treasure are all appreciated with Lemonade Day. And for every $10, we are able to offer the program for free for these kids. So, when you put it in that perspective, you're able to change a child's life with our program. So,
well, I want to be more involved. In fact, I'm going to look into it now since it is kind of the time to do it. We were happy to have raised over $3,000 for Lemonade Day at our chili showdown a few weeks back, bringing the community together, having some chili, having some fun, raising some money, trying to make an impact. I'm a big believer in internships and, of course, teaching entrepreneurship. And I would like to even get more involved, try to be a mentor. Well, so I will definitely look that up.
Well, we appreciate you so much, and any ways that you guys want to get involved and how we can help you also.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know how much you've watched the podcast, but I like to wear silly socks.
I like your socks.
Crazy socks. I've got Astro socks on today.
Go
since
Stros.
It's Go Stros. We're looking for a three-peat or however many it is, a legacy. And I have something for you, actually.
Wow.
So
something else besides
it's on free.
Oh, these are amazing.
Some lemonade socks, some lemon socks. So
I'm so excited. Well, we're doing a HISD event tomorrow, so maybe I'll wear these.
Hey, there you go.
No matter how hot it is. Thank you.
Sure, wear it with pride.
This is such a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the pod.
These are great. Thank you for having me.
Sure.